Uh, Driving to the hospital when I didn't know if my wife was alive or not. Because while I knew they weren't legally allowed to tell me, but I knew that was pretty terrifying because I was like, it could be a chance, I guess. And then it was scary because like now I had this whole open future that I didn't understand anymore.
You are listening to the Go Earn Your Salt podcast, brought to you by Salty Electrolytes. On this podcast, your host, Riley Rogers, explores the stories of people who get after it, get things done, and earn their salt. You will hear from high achievers who discuss what makes them tick, how they got to where they are today, and where they're headed tomorrow. Perhaps this podcast will help you go earn your salt. Today we have Randy William on here, Black Belt Randy, as he's also known. And Randy and I met through, it was through Forever White Belt podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
You had an interview on there, and we're a sponsor of that podcast also, Salt Electrolytes is. And anyways, we got chit-chatting through the comments on there just one day. One of the clips that he put out was... it spoke to me, so I commented to you and we got chit chatting after that. And Randy is, well, we also have jujitsu in common, right? And so we're both black belts. Me recently, he's been one for a long time. And so we have that common thread. But what really has hit me about Randy is just he's built this social media platform that has taken a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and really a lot of just overcoming insecurity in life to get there. And he's built this channel, Instagram and YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Randy?
Yeah, I just kind of throw it on there.
Yeah, just kind of throw it on there. But
Yeah,
we're going
YouTube
to
is
talk
just kind
about
of
that a
throw it
little
on
bit.
there.
It's but it impressed me, and I know how much work goes into those kind of things. And so that really made me want to have Randy on the show today. So man, I'm honored that you're here. I appreciate you accepting the invite.
Yeah, of course. I love doing these things. It's fun to chit chat all day.
Yeah. Well, Randy, tell us about you, man. Who are you? Where'd you come from? What was life growing up?
So I grew up on the East Coast in Delaware, like northern Delaware in the beginning, Wilmington. But I was born in Florida, but then my parents split up when I was really young. My dad moved up to Florida, Delaware. I guess that's where his family's from. So I grew up in like Wilmington and going to Philly all the time, hanging out. Uh, then life happened. I got put into foster care when I think I was eight or nine, and I was through that system till I was 18. Other than that, I stayed pretty much in the same area, surprisingly, pretty much the Dover area the whole time. And from that time, that's when I started training when I was in high school.
How did you end up in foster care? What happened there?
So my dad, as I get older, I realized he did try, but at the time, he just didn't know how to handle three kids by himself. But he obviously had the same anger issues I have. Like I wouldn't say he was as abusive as other kids I met, but if you got a mark on you and you go to school, it's a problem. And that's kind of what happened with my younger brother. He had like a mark on his back because dad missed. He supposed to smack his ass and hit him in the back. And no one really defended him, and he just kind of gave up on the situation, which as I get older, I'm like, man, that sucks. I can kind of understand now. But that's kind of how all that started. When I was 12, we had the choice to go back. My brother and sister actually did go back and live with my dad. I did not. I stayed where I was because I saw that I had opportunity that I didn't have being broke. So I chose that. I started playing sports that year. I was playing football, then lacrosse and soccer. I started to make friends. That was new to me at the time. That's pretty much where it all started there. When I was 12 is where my life actually started. And that was in Dover.
Still up in Delaware.
Yeah, all Delaware.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've been an athlete your whole life then, it sounds like, since a kid.
Yeah, whether serious or not, I've always done something. Like I started with football. That was the first sport I ever played.
How long
I
did you
love
do
that
that?
game. I played from 14 to 16. Um, I stopped playing because I stopped growing, honestly. I've been the same height since I was 12. I was huge as a kid. I was tall and lanky. I was like 110 pounds, but 5'9", which was ridiculous at that time. And then I tried to play Winter League one year when I was 15. And I learned real quick, I'm not a lineman. And this shit ain't for me, man. Getting knocked over in the cold, icy snow, that sucked. I was like, nope, I guess I'm playing soccer now. But I also started soccer because the high school I went to didn't even have football, so I couldn't even be a kicker or a receiver in high school. So I was a goalkeeper in soccer, since it's still a very aggressive position.
Yeah, dude, I was a goalie in soccer too. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. I got to just run through people. It was fun.
You know, it's funny that you say that because the last game that I ever played in, we had this coach come in. It was in junior high school, and we had this coach come in who he ended up skipping town, took all of our money with him, and just bailed right in the middle of
Oh
the
shit!
season. Yeah, but I remember the last game I played, I was in there, I was goalie, and this guy kicked the ball. Man, I grabbed the hold of that thing and I stopped it, but I was laying on top of the ball, right? And I was 2 feet from the line. I was right in front of the goal line. And as I got up, it slipped off my jersey and went in into the goal.
Oh
And man, it was
no!
just like this. It was a terrible way to end my soccer career. That was the
Oh
last memory I have was flubbing a goal.
man, I've done that. I've broken my hands several times because I get scored. I hate losing. I can't fucking stand it. And I played on the worst high school team you could imagine, right? Like I was an all-state goalie, not because I was just that good, which I thought I was, but because I got that many saves because we got shot on that
Oh, so you
much.
got a lot of
Like we
practice?
would lose the, oh man, I averaged like 20 saves a game. It was ridiculous.
It's so funny, man. Yeah, I never really thought of it from that perspective of, you want your goalie to be bored back there. You don't want your goalie getting a lot of action, right?
Exactly. That's what it is. I do that. I say the same thing in jujitsu all the time. I'm like, if you rely on your goalie or you rely on your escapes, you probably suck.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. Oh, I kind of want to talk about that as we get going. It's just that.
Yeah.
So hold that thought. You got a
It'd
mosquito
be
flying
there.
around
Don't
you
worry.
there?
There's a fucking fly.
Oh yeah,
Thought they were all gone, but oh well.
yeah. Do you guys get them like we get them down here? We get the season in the fall where we just get inundated with flies up here in Boise.
Usually it's just the summer. I'm like, this is the first time I had a fly in my house since my wife has been deployed, man. I'm like, how did it do it? Because we have like a sunroom and then a porch. So they got to go through so many layers to get in the fucking house.
Randy, tell me this, man. You said your wife's deployed right now.
No, she's actually back now. She's
Okay,
been back for a couple weeks.
so recently back then.
Yeah,
How long was she gone?
6 months.
What branch?
She's in Air Force.
In Air
She's
Force.
a captain. Well, she'll be a major soon, so pay raise.
Nice, nice. Well, tell her thank you for service, man. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, of course.
Were you military also?
No, surprisingly enough, I get asked that all the time. I was never military.
You just married a military
I
babe, huh?
just, I did. The first one and the second one were both military chicks, and then my first jujitsu teaching job was the on the Air Force, the Dover Air Force Base. So I've just always been around it.
But and tell everybody right now, you're not in Delaware anymore, though. You're
No, I'm in
in
Biloxi,
Biloxi, Mississippi.
Mississippi now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great, man. Well, go with this. So that's your growing up. What eventually led to jujitsu? Because you talked about soccer, you talked about football, but then all of a
Yeah,
sudden it's like jujitsu, very different sport, right?
yeah, it took over real quick. So my eighth grade year in my high school was high school for us. I went to a charter school, and I started varsity in soccer and lacrosse my eighth grade year. My first year playing lacrosse, I started for two main reasons. One, no one wanted to be a fucking goalie, and
In
in
lacrosse,
lacrosse, if you're a goalie, you're probably crazy if you're a goalie in lacrosse. That's like the stereotype of a lacrosse goalie. They're just nuts. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I was like, oh, cool. I get to take away people's hopes and dreams. Like, I love that about being a goalie in any sport.
yeah.
And I played that for 3 years, eighth, ninth. Well, I did play my junior year for sports, but I didn't play my sophomore year. because I got a double red card my sophomore year in soccer because I was just an asshole. I was arrogant. I slid tackled somebody, got a red card, and told the ref to suck my balls, and then got a double red card.
Okay.
So then I had to go to truancy court for fucking sports, and then I couldn't play my junior year of lacrosse. So I said, fuck it. And I tried to get back into playing it. I did at first. And then I started dating my son's mom, and I went to their house. It was like this time of year in September. It was during soccer season, and I went to their house, and her dad was like, "Hey, you want to help me lay some stone to make some cash?" I'm like, "Hell yeah! I love making money." So we're like laying these big like stones around his pool, make it look all pretty. He's like, "Did you wrestle?" No, that's gay. He's like, "You want to wrestle?" I'm like, "Sure, I can beat up an old man."
But he
And
just
then he
called you out in the
triangle choked
backyard,
me.
huh?
Yeah, I was
Nice.
like, all right. So he triangle choked me, and I had my hand in, and he dislocated my thumb, and I was like, that will never happen again. How the fuck did you do that? And then he started teaching me in the basement because he had like, it's funny, it was a blue basement, which is really funny to thinking
Oh
back on
yeah.
because he had blue mats. He was also a Henzo blue belt. He got his blue belt in like the 90s from Henzo and just never really stuck with it forever. He just trained once in a while. And then we had a gym pretty close to our house. And for that time period, yeah, jiu-jitsu was picking up, but you were lucky if there was a gym in your town.
What year was that?
And there was two in 2009.
Okay.
And so we had two in our town. There was one like right down the street, and then there was one in Dover that was in a church. And I went to both for a while at the same time. I trained every day I could. And that's how it started. I was like, oh, I am never losing to you again, ever. And then he never grappled with me again.
Oh man.
Ever. He
S-
never
s-
did it again.
So then he
So he
ducked,
always
huh?
had that win, and it pissed me off. So I got my blue belt. He's like, "Yeah, I'm done now." And then I got purple, brown, black. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, nope, I already beat you. Don't need to do it again."
So he just
And then he
he
died.
stepped out while he
Which
was
made it
ahead.
worse. Yeah, but now I really can't get him because he wouldn't have to go die.
Oh, he did?
He did. He passed away 2021.
Dude, so my instructor passed away in 2022. What year was that? Anyways, I think it was 2022 because my father was 6 weeks before that. But yeah, so I lost my instructor too
Yeah,
the other day.
it was a weird time because my first wife died Thanksgiving 2020, and then he died Thanksgiving 2021.
Your first wife passed away?
Yeah, she was in a car accident.
Really?
Hmm.
Dang, dude. What?
She was in Army National Guard.
Did you guys have kids?
No,
Oh,
we didn't have any together. She had one, two, and I had my oldest son at the time.
yeah, man, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. I don't want to know what it's like to walk through that. And that's gotta be.
That sucks, but I can't control what I can't control. That's how I deal with everything. Every good or bad thing, I just go to the gym the next day. My son was born, I went to the gym. My wife died, I went to the gym. It doesn't make a difference once it's done.
You talk about that a little bit, Randy, because that's yeah, because there's a lot of emotion in that, but at the same time, you're like, you, are you always that way with just being able to kind of recognize that yeah,
Yep.
what's done is
A
done, and
long, long time ago, someone said to me, I don't even remember who it was, I think I was like 12 or 13. Like, I may not have had good father figures, but I had really good men in my life who would just throw a quote out there. And for some reason, my idiot mind, for the betterness of me, just latched onto quotes, right? Maybe that's autism. I don't fucking know anymore. And he said, "But don't get mad about what you can't control." And that took me a long time to truly get because when you get scored on in soccer, you really can't control that. No matter how good you are, they should win in that situation. And I took it personally and would break my hands punching goalposts and just be an idiot. And then I heard that. I think I was a little, I might have been 14 or 15 when he told me that. And I just had that stick with me. I remember a time when my adopted parents, they got robbed, right? And they took my Game Boy. I was like, what the hell? But that popped in the head. Can't get mad what you can't control. You can always buy another one. And that's just how I've been since. Like I know online I come off as angry and petty. I do that because being petty is fun. Like being annoyed is hilarious to me. But I'm never actually angry. I haven't been mad in a long time.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that. The character you put on online because yeah, it's definitely I can tell you something you've worked on, right?
Yeah, I'm not just hyper.
You're what?
Just hyper all the time.
Yeah. Um, we'll talk about this, man, because you started jiu-jitsu in 2009. Okay.
Mhm.
For the audience members who don't know, a jiu-jitsu black belt's not something you achieve in a year. It's something that is a decade or more. It's a long-term choice. And so talk about that, man. Like what kept you motivated to continue on that path?
So I make this terrible joke. The darker my belt got, the bigger my ego got because I refused to lose. I hated it so much that I obsessed. I back then you were lucky if you got 2 or 3 nights a week to train.
Yeah.
I did that, and then I would go to another gym because back then that was like taboo going to 2 gyms. I did it anyway, and I would go, and then I would go home and just beat up a heavy bag for an hour every day, or just figure out things I could do. Some of it probably didn't make any sense, like trying to berimbolo a heavy bag. Like that's dumb. Or I would put sleeves on like a normal heavy bag and do Toriando passes. Like not the best thing to do. It's not mechanically sound when I look back, but I just obsessed. I thought about it constantly. Everything I did was grappling related. Every time I stood up from the floor playing with my son was stand up and base. Everything was grappling related. Every video I watched, everything I read, uh, I couldn't handle losing, and instead of quitting, I made it so I couldn't lose, which is probably not entirely healthy either, but it worked out for me. I was stubborn,
Were you like that in all the sports you played?
every single one of them. And when I played lacrosse, I would get up at 5 in the morning, go play with the college because the coach I had played college still, and then I would go to school and then go practice and then play at a travel team and then go to jiu-jitsu practice. Like I refused to just sit there. I learned really quickly that it doesn't matter how many years you do something, you can still suck ass because I was better than all the seniors on our team. And it's not about years, it's about hours. And then I heard that quote again in
Man,
jujitsu.
yeah.
Most of my like life lessons came from sports, not jujitsu. I just apply onto that now so I look wise or something.
Say that one more time. You said it's not about years, it's about
It's not about
hours.
years, it's about hours.
Expand on that.
Any idiot can put on a gi a couple nights a week and show up for 10 years. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But I got my black belt in pretty much self-taught in 8.5 years. I only went to a gym that I didn't run up until I was a late blue belt. And then I started teaching on base.
Tell me this, man, because again, with for the audience, we're not going to just stick with totally jujitsu in this thing,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
thread
Sorry.
through the whole thing because that's there's a lot of Randy's life, a lot of my life that has been part of that. So, um, Randy, when you're talking about being self-taught, talk about what that looks like, man. Because I here's what I envision when you say that, and I want you to tell me if it's close.
Yeah, yeah.
I spend more time learning outside the gym, sometimes by watching instructional, sometimes just thinking through situations, ruminating on it, just kind of that. I go full nerd mode on things. Um,
Mhm.
so when you say self-taught, was it completely self-taught or was there other influences in there that were just not in your
Well,
school?
my professor and my coach were huge influences, but I only got to see them maybe once every other month. So self-taught, I guess a better way to put it is self-refined. Like I learned one thing from my professor every other month, and I made that shit work. I didn't care how long it took me. And then he told me one day, because I was struggling with something, he said, just force it until it flows. And that blew my fucking mind because everyone in jiu-jitsu is all flow with the go and all this stupid shit. When that's not what athletics is. That's just not realistic. And I was a goalie, like I said, and everything in goalkeeping is angle and timing, right? It's a lot of angle, timing, and knowing where the ball is going to be. So you don't think.
Yeah.
My jujitsu, I don't think. There's certain buttons, I go. If I break your grip, get mine, I go. I just go. There's no thinking because I just drilled it 7 million times in my mind or on a dummy or on a person. It doesn't matter. Drilling on you, I'll do the same technique to you as a black belt that I would a grappling dummy. It doesn't change, which most people, even most grapplers, don't get what I mean by that. But I don't change just because you're a white or a black belt. I will do the same thing. I just might have to add an extra step because you might defend somewhat properly.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that, man. I know. I totally hear you on that. Tell me when you're what you're describing to me, like I said, I feel like we hold that in common that we can both just kind of dive full nerd into a subject, and that's kind of the way I like to put it because but it's kind of an addictive personality, is what I realize. It's like I'll go
Oh
into
yeah.
these things, and it's like I am full in, and are there things in this world that you stay away from because you recognize that kind of addictive type personality?
Yes and no. Like my wife knows what she married. When I travel, like I'll go up north and a lot of my friends do drugs. I will definitely smoke some weed, but I get bored and then I'm done with it. I will give acid the credit for helping me get over my wife's death. I did acid, walked around the woods for 12 hours, and I was like, oh, I'm good. Everything's fine. But I've never been addicted to any substance, arguably. You could argue caffeine if you want to, but I've never, I've always been good at just knowing if something's worth the time or not. Like, I'm not going to go try heroin because I've watched people, that blows my mind. How do you watch people die from this and then go, I'm going to do it?
I want to do that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it honestly. Like that one, I don't get. Like marijuana, I can see the appeal sometimes. Acid, like tripping. Like I can see how that could be fun, but I can also see how it's escapism. And I'm not doing anything different with jujitsu. Like I said earlier, if I have a good day, go to jujitsu. If I have a bad day, go to jujitsu. It's just a healthy escapism.
Yeah. No, the escapism part of it's for real, and I think I have background in like running, triathlon, that sort of a thing, and it was the same way with that, man. You get out there just chugging away, getting your own head, and it's like it's all you're thinking about is what you're doing at the moment, and it's very similar to the jiu-jitsu
Yeah,
world, right? Yeah.
I gave running a try. It's so boring. I tried. I ran a 5K like every day for like 3 months
Yeah.
to cut weight, and it was the most boring part of my day. It was the longest 25 minutes ever.
It's funny, man, because I love to run, but it depends on my environment. Like if I'm running trails where I have rocks to jump over and logs and that kind of thing, it's a
Yeah, yeah,
blast. But if I'm just out running down a road, yeah, it's boring as crud, man. I hear you.
yeah. It's awful. It's awful.
um, Talk about this, man. So you're obviously an accomplished teacher in jiu-jitsu. You've been instructing for quite some time. I see your stuff online, and we kind of talked prior to starting this recording about what it takes to be a good instructor, right? What it takes to take something
Hmm.
as complicated as jujitsu and simplify it down. And I had mentioned to you one of the videos I saw of yours where you said, everything is stand up and base. I may
Hmm.
put a little clip in here so people understand what I say when I say stand up and base, because that's not a term that
Yeah,
non-jujitsu people understand. In fact, half of jujitsu people don't understand why it's called that. But you're taking complicated subjects and you're distilling them down into these simplistic kind of concepts. Talk about how you got
exactly.
there, man. What's that take?
Quick story, because this is how I figured it out. I was learning the Ryan Hall hip bump to triangle, right?
Hmm.
Very common technique, one of the original, like, fancy setups, I would say. And it blew my mind, right? Because I made him do what I wanted him to do the thing I wanted to do. And I latched onto that technique. And I just broke it down over and over why that worked. Like I spent a lot of time just on that. why is it a push? Why can't I pull and do this? So that I have a way now I can pull and do the same technique. I have so many ways to do the exact same thing now. That's when I realized this shit is not hard. I'm just not good at it. Like I was a late blue belt when I realized everything's just timing and knowing when and how to do something enough. Like you don't need perfect technique. I care about perfect technique because I like to. That's not necessary. So with that, I read somewhere a long time ago that four is like the magic number. If I throw down three objects, you can count it without counting. Five objects, most people have to count. Four is that highest number. So I just decided I'm not going to teach anything that has more than four steps. So if it has more than four steps, you're not ready for it. Or if it's not adding to the previous four steps, so that means let me try to explain this. If we did 1, 2, 3, 4 of a berimbolo and you're not there yet, just stick with those four. And then we'll go 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's kind of how I did everything. I planned all my classes that way. I still do. So I teach one technique a week within a system and then just throw all the concepts in there with it.
You,
So I broke everything down to movement patterns, essentially.
yeah. I love that, man, because you're talking about something that takes so many years of repetition of something before you even start to recognize that stuff, right?
Hmm.
I've always,
I was winning matches and I didn't know how I won when I was a blue belt. And then I lost a lot of purple belt because I didn't care about winning anymore. Well, I did, but I cared of how did I do that? And then I'd get my own mind freeze and then get caught. And then at brown belt, it kind of evened out a little bit. And then I've just been refining the same thing since,
do you find,
adding little details here and there.
yeah, I discovered because I started teaching at purple belt. And I told you my instructor passed
Hmm.
away, and I was a purple belt then, and I used to cover his day classes.
Hmm.
The 9:30 in the morning, right? And I do Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'd cover him only when he traveled. And then one day he went out on a trip, went down to Brazil for a conference, and never came back. And I'm still teaching those classes today. And
Yeah, that's.
it's but I discovered, man, the art form of teaching anything is very different from being a practitioner in that
Mhm.
thing, right?
The hardest part about teaching isn't even the teaching. Well, it is, but it's not like it can't be one size fits all because jujitsu isn't like any other sport or subject in this one regard. There isn't, generally speaking, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and courses you work your way through. That's also an issue. Whereas if you're teaching a math class on basic math, like the four major functions plus, minus, divided, whatever, you're going to have a bunch of people who are idiots, and that's all you're going to have to teach. That's fine. Imagine trying to teach that class, and you're only allowed to teach the four major functions to a bunch of scientists. They're going to be bored out of their mind.
Right.
Same thing happens here a lot. I have to teach stand up and bass to my morons while I have two brown belts sitting over there. So at the same time, I have to figure out how can I make them do this? Like my whole job is tricking people into doing what I want them to do. It's very manipulative. It's hilarious. So that's what like when I have higher ranks in the class, I find ways to teach those mechanics within a technique. So if you look at a hip bump triangle, my legs on the back of the head, my shoulders on the mat, that's a stand up and base to pivot my hip out.
Yeah.
And then they can learn to feel jujitsu instead of do jujitsu, which is a very important distinction.
Yes. So talk about that because you kind of alluded to it in there that there's not only you're teaching to different levels, but you're also teaching to different learning styles, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
people who, and I'll do this in class, man. It's like some people I can tell by the look on their face, they've got to feel it. They need to come over here
Yeah,
and
yeah,
latch on.
exactly.
I got to show them. Talk about that. What's your strategy there?
Dude, 90% of the time I just grab their fucking hands and put them where they need to go. It's just talking doesn't work that often with a bunch of airmen or people who speak a different language. We have this new girl. She's probably my hardest worker right now. She just wants to always drill. She's like, we go again? I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. And just beat her ass. And she doesn't understand half of what I say, so I just have to manhandle her into position and
Just
tell her
show her.
stop fucking being difficult. Just treat them like children. Honestly, it's like parenting to a degree.
It's funny you say it that way because you know, between me as an instructor, this is what I'm thinking about as you're saying all this. I'm kind of reflecting on what it looks like in class. But I'll tell somebody, move your left hand to their shoulder, and they'll move their left foot, dude. I swear, it's. But I've been there. I've been on the receiving end of that too.
10,000 hours is a steep mountain to climb to become a master, especially when the task at hand puts a relentless demand on your body. There is nothing casual about this sport. It's all in, all effort, all focus. It takes a lot from you, but the reward is unmatched. Mastery of oneself, an acute understanding of your weaknesses with an explosive sense of your strengths. Being able to complete the climb to mastery requires the proper nutrition. This is why it's important to take in a potent blend of electrolytes that is in tune with your output and brings strength to your goals. This potent blend is only found in Salt Electrolytes. Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs.
Where my instructor's like, "Hey, it's your move your right hand," and I'm like, turn my head. That's not your right hand. That was your neck, dude.
Because they mimic what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you're like, move your right hand, they will do that. We mimic. That's the fastest way to learn is mimicry. Or I'll be like, grab this cup, and they'll do this.
Yes.
Who the fuck grabs a cup like that? Like, it's like, why did you do that? So I have to show them.
Yes.
I don't talk most of the time anymore. I'm like this. This is how you get a 4-finger grip.
I love that you
Like,
said
I try not to talk.
I love that you say you just take their hands and put them where you want them, because I was doing that literally last night. It's like, no, here. Don't rotate it here.
Yeah.
this is where the cup happens. Yeah, that's funny, man.
It's funny how it works.
So you've taken kind of the nonverbal approach to that.
Like, I do talk, but most of it's saying off the wall shit, so they remember it. If I say, I'm trying to find non-jiu-jitsu related analogies, and it's hard.
Yeah.
Hey, don't put your leg here because they will Achilles lock it. I'm like, nah. When in doubt, pull out, man. Don't let that shit get finished. They understand that.
This we have an instructor in our school who is masterful at giving names to things that are memorable, like what you're saying. So
Yeah.
Do you, when you're trying to come up with this, is it on the fly, or do you spend time outside of the mats trying to put these lessons together so with phrases that are memorable?
So the lessons are somewhat thought out, but then the ADHD is like, that's what takes over the analogies. Like, most of them, I just say it's some shit that some people are like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? But they don't forget it.
Oh my gosh, man. No, I think that's great. Having examples there that help people remember stuff. Like, you've been in the game long enough to have watched the names of techniques change, right? This thing that used to be called this is now called this, and you've probably seen it change 2 or 3 times over the years. So someone says, well, teach me this technique, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, show me.
Exactly. I actually stole the whole idea from Eddie Bravo because he's a systemizer.
Yeah.
I just thought his warm-ups were too damn long and complex for a normal person that didn't understand. So I just turned everything into a system. Like, that's all I did. And then we would add a tiny piece every day. And when I started teaching on bass, that's what I did. We weren't the most talented group of guys, but those guys won everything I put them in because I would teach them the arm drag from closed guard and then the bow and arrow. And that was it. They didn't even have to take the back. It was the shortest possible way to victory I could possibly think of. Pull guard, get closed guard, arm drag, choke fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Simple. And the worst part is, that is still my A game. Like, I don't change it. Like, I never had to change it. No one can stop it. Like, why change? If I get closed guard, I win. And that's like what I teach.
I love the simple approach to things. So we've all seen that 25 steps to a triangle instructional, right?
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, that's not wrong because they have a reason why they do that. But all we need to know is position, transition, position. That's it. That's all jujitsu is in its entirety. Submission is just a transition position side.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. So when you're going through 9 different positions and transitions to get to the end result, it's confusing for most people because they don't know why you did what you did, right? A lot of people don't know why I would go to De La Hiva.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. They have really good posture. I can't break them down. I'm going to open my guard. Most people just open their guard to open their fucking guard now. And that's why everyone says closed guard is dead, and that pisses me off.
This, doing things without a why behind it is what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of people do. A lot of people teach without a why behind it. But I also teach do what you're told. So I can see how it's confusing for some of my guys at times. Do what you're told, learn the why later.
Okay, so expand on that one a little bit, man, because that's probably a bigger point than I think most are realizing, right? Do as you're told now. At some point, that's all going to click on why you're doing it.
It will.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I told my guys last night. You were doing this arm drag a certain way because I've already worked out all of the kinks, right? I don't have time, just like if you have your kid, you don't have time to explain, hey, don't run into the road because of this, this, and this. Just don't run in the fucking road or you'll die.
Yeah.
It's that simple. You can learn the why after the danger's gone, dude. Like it's like parenting, man. I learned this grip, punch it down. If you punch it up, they punch you in the face. If you do it this way, they punch you in the face. If you do it this way, they stand up. Just do it, and then you'll learn the why later. And that's how my professor kind of taught. He taught me the over-under pass, and he's a little guy. And I was like, why that pass for such a little person? He's really good at it. Like, you fucked me up with that stupid pass. And I do it all the time. And then I realized something. I never get caught in lasso, ever. Unless I give it to you to play around, the way I pass naturally, I don't get caught in lasso, and I generally don't get caught in leg locks. That's what over-under passing is. Avoids the lasso, keeps your legs away. They clicked when I was a brown belt. I was like, okay, there's no reason to learn leg locks then. Okay, cool.
So you just said the words, it clicked when you were a brown belt, which means you said you got black belt in 8.5 years, but so you're 7 years in, right? And all of a sudden this concept clicks, like 7 years of
it took
digging
a while.
into the subject.
Like I said, I was stubborn. I was a technique Nazi, man. There's a video I posted a long, long time ago. It's like me doing like 15, 20 escapes from side control as a brown belt. And I looked at some of them. I was like, I don't even know how to do that anymore. I just hold the arm away. I just do one thing now that leads into other things.
Back again to that simplicity, right? You've kind of distilled it down now. You understand it better. But,
yeah.
Randy,
I think everyone should go through that. You should. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I said, I think everyone should go through that technique Nazi phase because how are you going to know if you don't try everything? Right? That's kind of how I thought about it. And eventually, some work, some don't, some get lucky, and then you find the ones that work consistently for you.
I think there's that exploration stage of any endeavor is important, right? I remember that in triathlon, man. I'd get out there and there were certain ways I'd have my bike set up and I'd change it because, after 20 miles, that starts to get really uncomfortable. So maybe it's better for aerodynamics, but I'm going to adjust these handlebars up a little bit because I can't sustain this for a long period of time. Right. Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Efficiency is relative. That's another thing nobody seems to understand. Is it really efficient to be aerodynamic if your ball is hurt and you can't even pedal? Like, who cares?
That's right. Yeah, comfort
efficiency is relative.
We all talk about like in the jiu-jitsu world, the body types. There's different kind of things you're gonna do just because you're built different, man. It's that way.
We can use that to circle right back to what a good instructor is. They understand that. Most instructors, and I know I'm not a big guy, but I'm not tiny anymore either. I'm very blessed. I get to teach you anything. But a lot of big guys try to teach a little guy a pressure game, and that shit's not going to work. It's just not. You can argue all day But if I can bench press 150 pounds and I'm only weighing 150 pounds, I'm throwing you off of me, like every single time. But I'm not going to teach, I don't know how big you are, but I'm not going to teach you my main passing style because what's efficient for me is movement. And if you're a big guy, you don't want to move too much. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah, I'm about 225 pounds. I'm 6 foot tall, right? So it's
Yeah, that's
not
like
very
the
many
limit of
people,
people I
although there
grapple
are
with.
exceptions, but not very many people just bench pressing me off, right? It happens.
No, I try every single time in the gym. I don't use efficiency all the time because it's fun. There's no pushing in jiu-jitsu. Like there really isn't. There's no place you actually push ever.
No. Describe that, man.
That's another thing
Keep
you're gonna
going.
think about for a while. You're gonna think about that for a while. There's no pushing. Everything is turning and locking your arm out using your hips. You should never push. Arms pull, legs push.
Arms pull,
Or
legs push.
frame.
Yeah, we
You could
just always
argue
call that
frame.
tension. I push, pull, tension, right?
Yeah, tension, connection, all that good fancy shit that's simple.
That's so
But yeah, I'll
funny,
bench
man.
press people off just because I bench a lot. It's my favorite lift. So I'm like, I gotta use it for something.
Well, talk about this, man. You said you bench a lot, so you do some weight training and you use some other
Mhm.
just as a go getter type of person, man. You're staying fit. So what does a day look like for you for training, fitness, that sort of thing?
So what time is it? I wake up at 6, help my wife, I cook all the breakfast, and then I go right back to sleep until I called you. So I sleep half the first half of the day. I sleep a lot. That's probably why I recover so well. And then this is pretty much when I start my day. I'll lift weights, pick up my kids, and then I'll do an accessory, like usually it's a grip or something. I don't know, my neck, whatever's hurting, I'll just deal with that. And then jujitsu. So I start my day at around like 3, and then I go to bed or stop working at like 9 when jujitsu's done. So I lift, go beat up kids at kids class. I only show up for the rolling part of that. That's like my warm up, and then teach my class. And that's like 2 classes put into one because we have 2-hour classes.
You guys
And
do
then we
like a
talk shit at the end of class.
yeah. There's always the powwow afterwards, right? We like
Yeah,
that. That's
that's
where
important.
that's the real jujitsu right there. But
Exactly.
how many days a week do you train?
Jiu-jitsu 5, Monday through Friday. I'll try on Saturdays, but while I'm a big believer in cross training, I don't see it worth my time anymore when my students beat up everybody. So if I can beat my students up and they can beat them up, what's the fucking point?
You're getting all the different looks you need from your own students, huh?
Yeah, right now, we have a small group right now, but I have a D1 wrestler who ruins my day. He's like 225 and 6'1" and just lean. He's just a handsome man. And then I have Jay. I don't even like rolling with Jay. Fuck that guy. I love Jay, but I hate rolling with Jay. It's awful. It's like getting steamrolled by a toy, like a tank. And then I
I got
have
the
all my
opportunity to
blue
grapple with
belts.
him. I told you that, didn't I?
Yeah, at least the thing is, he's not nice to me ever. Ever.
Yeah.
He's never been nice to me. He beats the shit out of me.
Yeah, he was nice to me, but he beat me up too. So there's that. Yeah.
Like the other day was the first time I grappled with him and didn't get tapped once. And he tried this knee on belly shit that he usually taps me with. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. My ribs hurt for like 3 days, but it was worth it.
That's
It's like I
so
didn't
funny,
lose. We'll
man.
go the Gracie. We'll go the Gracie way today. I won because I didn't lose.
Yeah, again, for the audience who doesn't know, when we say, Randy said neon belly, that's not like a neon sign. That's like a freaking kneecap in your sternum as a guy kneels on you and drives his knee into your, tries to go clear through to the spine,
Oh, yeah,
right?
it's awful. Except Jay likes to do it to the floating ribs. He'll turn you on your side and just drive it. Like he's fucking shoot you like Batman and Bane.
Tell you what, that's fond memories of stuff when guys do mean things, but at the same time, man, that stuff hurts. Violent.
It does.
Um,
It has its place.
yeah. Well, Randy, talk about this, man. We mentioned your social media in the introduction.
Oh yeah,
What
yeah.
is your channel called? So you've got Instagram and YouTube. I see on both, but
They're both black belt Randy.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what I wanted to name it. So when I started Instagram years ago, it was purple belt Randy, and then brown belt Randy, and then black belt Randy. And I never posted for like following them. Then it was just me, just a normal person, social media, like their friends and family. And when I moved down here and I married my current wife, I realized I'm going to be moving a lot. I should probably have a resume. And in jujitsu, but if I can prove I'm good at what I do, I build people, I teach, cool. I'll just do that. And then I started and I just looked at other influencers who had followings, and I saw a lot of them would pay for a guy to come film and then edit it. You see that a lot. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. Plus, it's expensive. It's like 8 grand. No, I'm good. When I could just learn how to do it myself. So that's what I did. I took my phone and me and Jason, I recorded a wrist lock and explained how it worked against the competition footage of the wrist lock. This was the first thing I ever posted, and it got 1 million views. And I was like, wow, I got lucky as shit. I was so lucky because I haven't had anything over 500K views since then. But
Your
it
first
got
thing was 1 million
me.
views.
The very first thing I ever posted, trying to post, like trying to build a following, was 1 million views.
Holy crap. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
got so lucky,
impressive.
which was quite motivating. And then I tried to recreate it, and it didn't do well. And then I got to doing voiceover because I would try to do at first teaching and doing, and I could do it. I just didn't have a microphone, and I hated how I sounded. And then those I always started with like, all right, guys, let's just fucking do this shit, and they did pretty well. And then I realized somebody made a video and sent it to me. It's just them scrolling through and it just says, all right, all right, all right, all right. And I was like, okay, I'm done doing that then. And then the algorithm changed or something changed last year where the typical, this is cool, jiu-jitsu technique, shows technique, this is it full speed. That formula just stopped working for everybody. Like even you look at Matt Arroyo's views compared to what they were, and they're like, he has 500,000 people with like 10,000 views on a video. So for some reason that formula stopped working. But I noticed people like Chris Bones and the Jiu Jitsu Weasel kid would just say off the wall shit. And I was like, oh, I can do that. I can just be an asshole because that's like how I normally talk. And then when my wife was deployed, I just got fucking impatient with everything. And plus, I wasn't getting laid, so I was just mad all the time, I guess. And I just started talking the way I normally do to my students to the camera. I was like, you fucking moron, why do you make this shit difficult? It's not hard. It's so simple. I've been doing it my whole life. You can do it too. Which I understand the irony in that statement. That's the whole point.
Do you what so you say you kind of figured out how that's working now versus the other thing,
Mhm.
what do you look for, man, as a content producer? What kind of things do you look for to kind of see what's working out there in the social media world?
So it's pretty easy actually nowadays. Just find people in your niche and then look at their last 10 video view counts. And that's what they're doing now. If what they're doing now is they wouldn't do random new shit if they're successful. They're built off of something. And I don't want to go back 5 years to see their beginnings and their process. I don't care about that. I just want to understand what they're doing now. And that's what I did.
Funny, that's
That was
never
like that's
crossed
what I
my
do with
mind.
yeah. Who cares what they did in the past? Because even on Instagram, I have some gold information on there. I just repost it. There's no reason to because nobody scrolls back more than a few videos.
Right.
So I don't need to. The only reason I refilm things is because when you download something so many times, it's all grainy and ugly. So then I'll refilm it and then change the hook or how I intro it. That's what I experiment with. I don't really change the actual information at all. I just change the intro.
That's interesting.
Try to be as yeah. I try to be more relatable than check out this cool like that. I hated doing those hooks. I felt like a fucking cornball, man. I hated it. But now, if you were my dummy, I'm like, if you're a big fat fuck like this, here's a cool technique, and it works because people are like, oh, I'm fat, I can do that.
Yeah, No, you've built this character, and it's kind of endearing a little bit because I watch what you've done, and like I said, I told you before we started recording, I've watched through the comments, right? And one of the things
Yeah.
is, and it's not showing right now per se, but you got pretty thick hair, and at times when it gets
Yeah.
longer, guys will give you so much crap about having a wig on. It just
Yeah.
cracked me up the first time I started reading through some comments. I'm like, oh man, I kind of think he's got a wig on too. And then it was a controversy almost. No one knew for sure.
Yeah. So every once in a while, because it's not annoying or anything, but I would still, I gotta prove you wrong. I'd do a story like, look, my hair's fucking real. It's just ridiculously thick. I swear. Why would, of all the things to fake, why would I fake my hair? I'm only 33, man. Like, well, I guess they are bald 30-year-olds. But still, of all the things to fake, why would I fake that, you know? Maybe engagement. Some people do shit for engagement farming, but I don't know.
No, and when I
I
first
thought it
started
was
watching your
funny.
videos, that's kind of what I thought you were doing.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll wear something to do that. Like I'll wear a watch and grind someone's face with it, or I'll wear like a band T-shirt. Excuse me. Little things like that, but that's just I was already wearing it, and I just something popped into my head. But no, I try to let my personality do all the work versus actual editing and thinking.
Okay, so you just said something there that I think is important when you said you're letting your personality do all the work.
Oh yeah,
You're I'm talking to you here like, hey, you're putting on this character, but what you're telling me is it's not really a character. This is just who you are, and you just let it fly.
no. That's why all my videos are kind of all over the place now. Like, it is funny though when I'm pissed off. That's when I get the most like followers, like conversion rate. Like I made a video and you stupid fucks cannot get out of side control. Like you doing bunky chokes and all this dumb shit. That got me like 1,000 followers. And then I post something that's like super helpful, like something that spent my whole life developing with one sentence and it just dies. And it always blows my mind because you think as jujitsu nerds we'd like care about that. But I learned the vast majority of people are fucking stupid and the beginners, that's a better way to put that. They're just beginners. They don't understand when I say everything stand up and base. They don't get it.
Yeah.
But they do get, you stupid fuck. Like, that resonates a lot more.
It's kind of funny to me because you're you just translated, right? You just said, it's not because they're morons, it's because they're new. And you
Yeah.
sort of convey that. It's like that message comes across, and so I think when you call people morons even on the videos, that's how I take it when I hear them. I'm like, "Oh, you're basically saying a new guy or someone who's,
Yeah.
just doesn't understand yet, hasn't gotten there." And but yet
Hmm.
the word choices you use, man, it,
Yeah. It's like I just stopped caring what anyone thought. That's what it boils down to in the end. I don't give a shit if someone likes me or not. What are you going to do? Beat me up?
yeah,
Okay. Like, who cares?
that's no, just being genuine, man, just being who you are. I think that goes a long ways because if you are putting on fakery every time you do a video, that motivation's going to disappear.
It does. And like that's why if you look I deleted a lot of them, but if you look at like Midsummer, I was just tired of it, man, because I was just bored trying to come up with a hook or planning all the time. Like I didn't take any like classes to do social media, but I would read or ChatGPT ideas and do what influencers and other creators said they did. And it just didn't work for me in the same way. Like I get you need to plan. Don't get me wrong. Everything I do is planned. But it just I don't script anything. Like sometimes it takes me 6 takes to do the same thing. But his like then like sometimes I'll leave those in there. I'm like, fuck, I'm stupid today. God, that was awful.
You just said something there. So you have those days when you can't even put words together.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the ones that do well too. Like, just fucking do this shit because then I'll show some shit and then it does well. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not playing shit ever again.
It cracks me up so much, because I'm new to the social media stuff. We've been a couple of years with our electrolyte brand, and I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
or looked at any of the little detail videos I do, little jujitsu videos. And I do those mostly for me, because my son works with me on it, and I'm like, there's these little things that he's gonna want years from now as he's training and learning himself. And one of these days I'm gonna be dead and gone, and it'll be cool to have his
It's funny you say
videos
that
with the dad.
concept.
Yeah,
That's fun. Like that's always in the back of my mind that I'm gonna be forever because the internet's forever.
yeah,
My kids are always gonna get to see that I was fun or helpful or kind. But I message everybody back. I answer every question somebody asks me. Um, Hell, I make videos all the time. Like if someone asks me a question while I'm in the gym, I'm like, "Hey, hold this," and I'll just show them because it's just easier than trying to fucking type it. So I think that's helped my social media more than just the videos itself. I like what I do. I don't make much money on jujitsu itself. All my income or free shit comes because people just want to help me help people. Like I have a ton of sponsors, right? You don't see me selling shit online very often. It's very rare. They just help me to help others. I'm very lucky with that aspect that they all understand that. I'm not a salesman. I don't really want to be a salesman. That makes me feel corny too. Hey, check out this fucking thing someone gave me for free that I'm supposed to say nice shit about.
yeah, yeah. No, I hear you there, man. There's it's funny because we probably on a daily basis I'll get a message from somebody. I got one this morning from a gal just saying, "Hey,
Mhm.
can you guys send some free product to a poor college student?" And I'm going, "No, I don't know who you are." There's no, we don't have a
Exactly.
relationship at all. You're just calling and asking for free stuff. This costs me money. Don't
I've
think it's free
only
for me.
I've only reached out to one company, and it was my belts, EOS and Panther. And it wasn't because I already bought one. I already had one. It was because there's a lot of belt companies. There really is, and they make everything. They're in Atlanta. They make everything handmade. Everything's done. They do everything here, and so does Qatar. But Qatar has this big name, and I like Qatar. I had their belts too, but I just really like this belt. It's heavier. It's thicker. It just feels really nice. And for a company that's been around for 50 years, nobody knows who they are. Like so few people. And I was like, I want to help them because this is great. And then they've just been supporting me since. Like I have like 4 belts now, which I have a lot more than that, but I have 4 really, really nice belts now. And that was the only company I actually reached out to. The rest of them all reached out to me, and most of them I say no to just because it's something I wouldn't use. Like I got a dog walking company that master to walk my dog, like the most random shit. Like, thank you, but do you see what I kind of do here? Yeah, chihuahuas, but I don't walk them. That's my wife's job. I just cuddle them. Right?
Dang, man. Dang. Well, talk to me about this. Still in this kind of the social media vein of things. Putting yourself out there. I always had this
Mhm.
impression that, influencers or someone who does these videos is kind of like just starving for attention. But dude, that's exactly the opposite. You start putting yourself out there and there's like this level of self-sacrifice and um,
You could
almost
say that.
humility, right?
What I've noticed with a lot of them is they are actors, and that's okay. I get it. But I've also noticed that when things start to dip, they start to act differently. Like things change. Like, yeah, I changed my strategy, but my personality never really changed. That was important to me. I will never teach or show you something I don't do myself, right? I'll never show you some shit that I don't actually hit on my blue or purple belts. That's a waste of time for everybody. Or they'll move on and they'll try to entirely different strategy. Lots of things change when I actually meet other influencers because they are definitely not what they seem. Same with high level competitors, they're just not. And that's okay, I guess. I don't really like hanging out with them. But when it comes to like the whole humility thing, I don't really care about the attention or views. I just want to prove I'm good at what I do. And views does that. That
It
helps.
kind of
Sounds kind of counterintuitive, right?
reinforces that.
It does. And you say like the whole wig thing, that's the worst I get, right? Every once in a while, someone will make fun of my speech impediment, which is fine because that's how I stand out. I'm a redhead with a speech impediment that talks shit. Like I stand out. And that's the biggest reason I stand out.
All right, you sweaty buggers. That liquid dripping off your forehead and down your back contains minerals that are critical for high performance. If you don't put those minerals back, you're not going to perform well. This is where Salt Electrolytes comes in. Salt contains 6 electrolyte minerals plus a touch of iodine to help you replenish after a hard workout. Salt is the only electrolyte supplement to pair every mineral with its counterpart, giving you the most robust mineral profile on the market, period. Head over to GoEarnYourSalt.com today to get some for yourself. Use the code GOEarnYourSalt to get 15% off your first order. And now, my friends, go earn your salt.
All of those things. All my students can hear me when I'm coaching, and I don't gotta yell. I can just fucking talk because my voices are fucking half retarded. They understand what I'm saying because it's different. That makes me stand out, and it always has. And hell, it's gotten me chicks when I was in college. Like, why would I think of it as a bad thing? I never cared. I never got the comments I see other influencers get, like, yeah, that shit wouldn't work, or what a like, no one's ever been super negative, which I find ironic because I talk shit. Like, I really do find it pretty crazy. Nobody messes with me.
You know, what I think part of that is, and I was going to ask you about that. You're just kind of haters in the comments because any sport is kind of got some of that, but jiu-jitsu's got a lot where everyone thinks they know it
Oh, yeah.
all, and they were taught a certain version from their coach, and they think that's the only way you do anything. And there's like this, it's part of the culture, right?
It is. It's an unfortunate part. Everyone thinks their way is the best way, when we all know my way is a pretty awesome way. Like, that's kind of how it goes. That's kind of how everyone thinks, you know?
Yeah.
Had this guy who was doing the drill, but like 100 miles an hour. And he said, can you do that for 5 minutes? And he said, yeah. He said, all right, then keep fucking doing it. I don't care. That blew my mind because most of those old school Brazilians are very strict in
Yeah.
certain aspects. And VJ was always like, if your body can't do it, you have to find a way around it. I'm very mobile. So he could do these things I couldn't do. But one of those things is you should always be on your toes, which a lot of people argue with me about, but they're stupid. How the social media thing has gone. Nobody talks shit, it seems, because like I try to explain things in a way of this is why I do it. This works for me. I think it works for most people, but nothing's absolute.
That's the humility I'm talking about earlier, right? And I think that's probably the reason you don't get as much of that is because one, you're explaining the why, but two, you're explaining that this may be different for you.
Yeah. It's really, some things are hard for me to relate to. I started this when I was 17, and I was injuries as a black belt. I'm pretty healthy. Like I have a torn PCL and a torn ACL. They don't matter if you have decent leg strength. They really don't. They're not important ligaments if your legs are strong. Nobody knows. Well, they know because I say it, but you can't tell the way I move. I can bounce around, I can jump, I can do everything a normal person can do. I can cut, change angles, pivot. Nothing stops me. And it's hard for me to relate sometimes to the 40-year-old brown belt who is like, how do I slow you down? You don't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Some things you just got to be honest with yourself.
No, there's
weight in the gi, you might, but it just is what it is.
it's funny, man, because there's all those memes that go around about the lazy brown belt. That was me.
I beat the shit out of lazy brown belt.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me for sure. And it was you get as a population of a school, right? We have 250 people at our school, and as a population,
awesome.
by the time you get to brown belt, the vast majority of that population is pretty easy to deal with, right? And so,
Oh, by far. That's why I started lifting weights. Well, one of the reasons I started lifting weights. Jiu-jitsu is the easiest part of my day.
yeah, you needed something else outside. So, Randy, that's something that my coach would always say. He said, at some point in this journey, you're going to have to get your workout somewhere else. And I didn't understand, but that's what he was saying.
Yeah. So I started lifting when I got my first degree because that really solidified I was a black belt because now people can see visually I've been one for some time. And I'm not gonna lie, it sucked being 140 pounds and having to deal with someone like you as a blue belt, and it was hard. And I didn't feel that should be the case. Like, let's pretend it's you as a blue belt. You're not some D1 wrestler, just a normal ass dude.
Hmm.
Yeah, that shouldn't be difficult for me. But it was, and I hated that aspect. And it wasn't because I was trying to muscle people off, it's just my body hurt.
Yeah.
That it wasn't the strength difference, it's you laying on me difference. Now that I can bench almost double my weight, nothing hurts anymore. I feel great. I'm 170-ish pounds. I enjoy lifting because it's numbers and I get to watch things tick up. It's progressible. And it's made jiu-jitsu even easier. I didn't lose any speed or athleticism by getting, well, I'm not bulky, but bulkier. Well, I think lifting is I would put, if I had to start my life over and just focus on health and fitness for longevity of life, I would just lift weights. I wouldn't do anything else.
Mm. It's funny, man, because that's something that I have never been able to latch onto. It's like I love, like I said, I love
Oh,
to
it's
run, I
boring
love
as
the
fuck.
triathlon, I love the cardio stuff. I like to roll. I like racquetball. I like things where it's like a game. Things are gamified.
Yeah,
Lifting weights, I've never been able to gamify, so I've never been able to latch onto it. Like,
that's why I use my stories for it. It keeps me accountable. There are people, I've never, ever got somebody to start jujitsu. Like, I know it sounds craziness. I've never met somebody like, hey, come train, and they actually do it, ever. But through Instagram, I've gotten countless people to start lifting. Granted, maybe that's because they're already wanting to, or maybe they do jujitsu already. That's cool. But I've gotten so many people lifting, and I'm not some expert in bodybuilding. I just do what I'm told. I'm not an expert. I do what I'm told till I understand, and then I modify. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. My whole goal from first degree to second degree was being the 1,000 pound club, and I got that. And I was like, yes, I got it a week before too. I was like, oh no, I got it pretty close.
that's
Took me 3 years.
a buddy of mine's 17-year-old kid just hit the 1,000 pound club, man. I was pretty impressed with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, some of these kids, man, benching 400 pounds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know what he benches. His bench was his high one. It was I think it was his deadlift, but it was ridiculous. I can't remember the number, but it was a lot. Of course, he's a big kid too. He's, 240 pounds and
I should hope so.
big old boy. Yeah. Randy, can we switch to just some lighter questions?
Yeah, go for it.
Listen, this is called the Go Earn Your Salt podcast, and when you hear the term "Go Earn Your Salt," what does it mean to you?
Give me a second here. Go and salt. Kind of reminds me of the whole fuel hunt slogan. Go get what you gotta go do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
It's funny, you just threw Nike's slogan
It
in there.
seems very simple. Just do. Just do. That's the part people struggle with. Nothing in life is that difficult or hard or challenging. The actual thing that's challenging for people isn't the action, it's the consistency. Any moron can work hard in the gym for a day,
I got
but
it.
if you just kind of work to moderate failure every day, you'll go way farther.
Expand on that a little bit more, because you just said that the thing that actually matters is consistency, right?
Yeah,
Talk about that some
like all the old school guys say it. Chris Halter, it's not about who's good, it's who's left. That's what it is. You put your time on the mat. Even though I say it's hours, not years, if you're there consistently-ish for years, you're going to be one of the best guys in the room after 5 years, right? Unless you're just stupid. And even still, you're still better than most people in the mind. Who cares?
Mhm.
As long as you're enjoying the process. Consistency is everything. If you start easy and simple and consistent, same with diet. I don't make some fancy, grandiose recipes. I just do simple shit that gets all my macros. And then I add seasoning. That's what my jujitsu is. Simple shit. Add some flair. My lifting, the big basic lifts, add some biceps. Like everything's the same to me. Do it simple, consistent, add something to make it fun. It doesn't always have to be efficient.
Love it, man, because I had this conversation with a couple of students the other night. I noticed they're new guys, so they're inefficient in their movements. They got out there on the mat. They're both strong dudes, tough guys, but
Hmm.
they're just new at it. And so I watched them roll for a 6 minute round and then sit out a round. And then they come back in and roll for one and then sit out 2 rounds. And I went
Yeah.
and sat with them and I'm like, hey guys, come here for a minute. Come sit with me. You're gonna roll with me for a little bit and we're gonna grapple at a pace where you could go for an hour. You're gonna chill out a little bit because what
Hmm.
you're doing is just gassing yourself because you're not efficient yet. And we're gonna learn
Yeah.
how to be efficient so that you can be more consistent. You can get 5 rounds in a night or 6 rounds or 7 rounds rather than two because you're sitting out so many.
Exactly. And that's just another, there's so many ways to do the same thing with different names. It's all about mat time, right? It doesn't matter if you're drilling, rolling, doing the whole eco thing. It doesn't matter as long as it's relatively organized and you're on the mat. Like the flow rolling, people like to hate on. That's just energy conservation so you can do it
Yeah.
longer. That's all it is. Like people try to make this more or less than what it really is. Like some people like to go one direction, the other direction. The whole point is try to do it as long as possible. Lifting weights allows me to do this longer. I'm not a big guy. I stay in my lane. I don't do absolutes anymore. That's
Mhm.
dumb. I only roll with big people that I know, right? Not because I'm a bitch, because like I'll beat you up, but it's not worth being sore tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's so I can not be sore tomorrow, so I can train every day. That's where the one place my ego kind of slowed down a little bit. Like I'm like, I don't need to win every round anymore. That took me until second degree black belt to learn.
Oh man, yeah.
Took me a long time, man. Took me a long time to slow down.
That's a big
And
deal,
I'm
man,
still
because
one
we
of the
take pride in
fastest
that,
people.
right? I'll grapple with anybody anytime. I'll take on any match. But then there's this point
Yeah,
where you're kind of like, yeah, but I had to miss 2 days of training because I did that. Was
exactly.
it worth it? Yeah.
Like I roll with Jay once every other week. And every once in a while I'll do two in a row because I know he's kind of tired, but he'll still kick my ass, but it's not as painful. And no other sport does this stupid shit, right? Wrestlers, they wrestle within their lane, up or down a single class in practice. Sumo does it is because there's no weight classes at all to begin with. So like no sport has like an absolute, right? Like it's not a thing. You don't compete in your own weight class and then jump in with the world champion in his own weight. That's dumb. That's why people get injured.
Yeah.
I think most injuries happen due to falling body weight. And if somebody's way bigger than you, like if you're a black belt, you could slip and fall and break my arm.
Right.
That took no skill. You just fell on
It
me.
just fell.
Like it can happen. We've all slipped on the mats when they're all gross. So like I stay in my lane unless I really know you. If I know you're older and crippled, I slow my speed down because that's my attribute. That's my gift. Yours may be size and strength. You would have to slow
Mhm.
that down for people lesser than you. That's another thing that goes circling back to instructors don't know how to teach that aspect either. How to teach people to use just the principle based or try to do take away. Because that was an art concept. Limitation breeds creativity. My art teacher would take away the tools I use the most and told me to paint something the same, and it would piss me off. But that's what like getting injured in jiu-jitsu is. I can't use my legs, so I still gotta do the same shit. Or I can't use my speed, so I gotta find a way to control you without speed.
You said how did you phrase that? Limitation breeds
Creativity.
creativity.
Hmm.
It's so funny, man, because I was talking to I interviewed. You know what a Bulgarian bag is? You ever seen
Yeah,
those? I interviewed Ivan
the ones
Ivanov.
that go like this.
Yeah, yeah. So the guy who
Yeah, yeah,
invented
yeah.
those things lives right here in my hometown, and I met him actually down in Salt Lake City at a different event, and we realized we lived in the same town together, and so I interviewed him
Mm.
a few episodes ago, and we were talking about that. We were talking about jiu-jitsu versus Greco-Roman wrestling and how those rule sets, the limitations that you're talking about, really breed
Hmm.
different technique and different responses. And,
They do.
and he was talking a lot about they use the gut wrench a lot, to try to turn their opponent. And,
Hmm.
and I was like, in jiu-jitsu, we don't use gut wrench at all. Like because the reaction's different because of the limitations in the rule set, right?
Yeah, because they won't roll to their back.
Right. They'd lose if they did. Right? That's the name of the game. Yeah.
It's like that's why I argue that I did eco before it was cool. These eco nerds piss me off because they act like this is some new concept. Every sport has always broken things down and turned it into games.
Yeah.
Every sport ever. I taught on base, like I coached lacrosse, right? And I learned real quick the old school way of 3 techniques and then kill each other or just throw people to the wolves does not work. But I also learned that family garage that makes you wait 6 months to roll does not work. So I came up with, I will just teach a like a technique, side control escape, and will only work from there. That way I can throw him to the wolves without him being terrified.
Yeah.
That was my thought process back then because I wanted to not scare away new guys, but I also didn't want to bore people who wanted to roll because I had a bunch of athletes. We were just a bunch of they were just a bunch of military airmen. But I didn't want them to get injured either.
Yeah.
So I was a purple belt doing the games, right? We just called them situationals.
Yeah.
And again, that's limitation to breed creativity. If you only know one technique, you'll find ways to mess with their base and use that technique.
That's right. You know, it's funny. So
And
for
that's
the
what I do now.
audience, for the audience who doesn't know, when Randy referred to eco, that's a new thing in the jiu-jitsu world. Well, it's not a new thing, but it's a new phraseology to explain something that's been around forever. But there's this big argument that it's the new, latest, and greatest way to learn, and you know, it's just, again, it's a rebadge of old stuff. So that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, it goes back to the stupid old man. That's what they are. That's all they are. They're the kids. They're the teenagers of jiu-jitsu right now. We don't know what we're talking about because we're old.
Yeah.
The thing is, while I firmly believe a vast majority of their training after blue belt should be situational as in sparring, just because something's 90%, you still need that 10%.
For sure.
I have grappled so many guys who are blue and purple belts that come from eco gyms only and beat them, one, at their own games, because I let them run the class because it's funny. And then they're like the landlords of jiu-jitsu. Yeah, they get the job done, but it looks like shit. Like, they don't have the skill or the technical approach. They run around the guard using attributes when you could just pivot or take the time to learn from someone like me who's really good at pivoting, and he'd be even better. Like, it has its place. Just, you should probably teach them how to play the game before playing the game.
Yeah. You have to have a base before you can start inventing stuff, right?
Literally a base. Like, most of those dudes just fall the fuck over.
Yeah, that's another thing too, which again kind of goes back to, you know, so many different concepts, from leadership to business ownership to, you know, sometimes people just fall over. They don't weather it enough. They don't get the grit where they have to really push through some stuff and just tip over.
Exactly. Yeah. That's like, grit was always something I always thought I had, and then I realized everyone could do that. You just have to not care what people think. I think a lot of what holds people's back is they care. The best advice I ever got sounds so harsh, but it's the greatest thing I ever heard. I say that a lot. I heard a lot of awesome things. That no one gives a fuck about you. They forget about you the moment you're not in their peripherals. That was awesome. Because the moment you're not, you're scrolling on Facebook, you might like something, and then they forget. You walk by, you see a guy in a ridiculous red jacket, you think, that was ridiculous. You forget. No one really cares. And it's the greatest thing ever to realize no one really cares what you do, good or bad. You probably shouldn't do shit, but no one cares. Don't forget. Everyone forgets.
That's
enough time, everything's forgotten.
There's a lot of wisdom in that, man. I one of the questions I was going to ask you is, what's the best advice you've ever received? And you got that before.
That's up there. I've gotten a lot of great advice.
Well, we'll circle back to that because I want to hear more. But Randy, what
I say, I like latch on to quotes.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, man. I think there's freedom in that, right? When you're It's
A
like
lot.
you may screw up. You may put a video out there where you just kind of look like an idiot, but people are gonna forget. Put the next one out. Who
No, yeah,
cares?
yeah. There was this one time. I put a story that said it's so easy to become jujitsu famous. You don't even got to be good at jujitsu, right? You could just talk like an asshole, or you could have a gimmick. You can make a funny face, and then one of those dudes who made the funny face made a video. He's all pissed off, like challenging me to a match, right? And he's a pro boy. He's probably good. I don't know. I don't care. And I just thought that was funny how riled up somebody got over a truth, because it doesn't take much to become jujitsu famous. You don't need to be a competitor. That actually is a detriment. You're tearing your body down, paying all this money for some crap medals that don't get you anywhere. I competed a lot when I was younger because it was fun, not because I cared about being famous.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I ruffled some feathers. That ruffled a lot of people. That made a lot of people mad that day. But they all forgot. No one messages about it. No one comments on the post anymore. No one cares.
That's such a cool perspective, man. Gosh, that'll make my wheels turn for a while because it's funny. It's like this. I totally agree with the idea, and I'm coming to this understanding over time.
Hmm.
But then all of a sudden, as you say that, it's kind of it's trickling down into these other areas where I'm thinking about that whole idea of, I'm in teaching a class or I'm doing a thing and I say something completely stupid, or I realize someone's question, I answered the wrong thing, right? As an instructor, I
Yeah.
thought they were asking this and this, and I show them a solution that I think they're asking me, and then they look at me kind of crazy, and I'm like, that's not what you were asking at all, was it? And then we
Yeah.
then we get on the right
That's another
track and
thing.
everything's good, and then they forget about it,
Yeah.
and here we go.
Going back to the instructor thing, just be willing to, yeah, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know. I've never experienced it. Like, I get questions still. I've experienced a lot of grappling. I'm like, dude, that's never happened to me because I don't put myself in that dumbass situation. Like, how did you end up there? Let's go back. Uh, but with that same quote, my jiu-jitsu coach, Alberto, he told me, those who matter, matter, and those who don't, don't. Same thing, just another way of phrasing it. Like, those people's opinions matter, those ones don't.
Yeah,
If someone doesn't really care, then what's their opinion mean?
yeah, yeah. Do you ever spend any time reading through comments on your stuff, or do you?
I answer all my
You do.
comments,
Okay,
good or bad. Answer all of them.
I love it, man. Um,
The only ones I don't are like if it's just like emojis or something, they don't, those don't really count. But even those I usually do with more emojis just because it's engagement.
sure.
And half my day is sitting at home fucking around on my phone anyway.
All right, man. What's outside of jiu-jitsu, what's your favorite pastime?
I wish I had one. I pretty much do the three great F's: fight, fuck, and eat, feed. That's it. I don't do anything else. I play with my kids. I love my family. Spend a lot of time with my wife, and I don't care about anything else. I could live in a fucking box. I'd be good. The only reason I don't is because that would make my wife unhappy.
That's funny. That's a subject for a different day. Yeah, I would live under a bridge
Yeah,
too if it
dude, I
wasn't.
don't like anything else. I've given an honest try. I tried painting. I used to be an artist. I went to my high school was an art school. I have a minor in art, and I'm bored.
Yeah, you create art on the internet, right? That's what you're doing now.
Yeah,
So
it's like that's my creativity for the day.
yeah. Your favorite band?
Ooh, I have a few. I love my Necrogoblicon band, like all my death metal bands. I like Lorna Shore, but then I'll listen to Iron Maiden. Then I'll go back to Sting or the Scorpions. It's all over the place with metal and rock because that's what my real dad listened to is like Scorpion, Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
That's what I grew up with, a giant stereo.
you use that for background music in a lot of your videos, don't you?
Yep,
A lot of metal.
yep. I use all kinds of music as background music.
What's something that's quirky about you that most people don't know?
Huh? Quirky, dude. All I do when I'm at home is pace and clean. I don't really sit. often. This is like the longest you're going to get me to sit down, and that's because I can't walk around my phone because I did that on a podcast and I made the guy dizzy. So I try to not do that. I don't sit still very often. It's either I'm sleeping or going 1,000 miles an hour. There's not really a middle ground.
It's funny because you seem like that kind of guy to me, just kind of high strung and
Yeah, it's hyper is a good word.
yeah. Your favorite food?
I love pizza, but my like safety food I would have to say is any form of peanut butter and jelly. I'll make it into burritos. I'll make it into frozen waffles. I'll make it in from pancakes, bread. I'll even sometimes make peanut butter, make jelly, bake a loaf of bread, and then make the peanut butter and jelly. Don't
Sweet.
know why. Just I don't know why. There's always been a thing. Like I go through a jar of peanut butter a week.
That's it's funny. That's I think
A lot.
it's an underappreciated food, right?
It is.
You talked about
Apparently,
macros.
if you eat enough of them, you'll live longer. There's like a stupid study on like hot dogs. There's peanut butter and jelly, and hot dogs take away from your life, but peanut butter and jelly doesn't. So like, I'm good. I'm gonna live forever. I take my 10,000 steps. I probably have that today already. Yeah, I got 10,000 steps. I slept half the day.
It's so funny you say that. In high school, one time I went on and I decided for 3 days straight that's all I was going to eat was peanut butter and jelly. I found my limit in that, but I still love them.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't think there is a limit.
Oh, yeah.
That's my midnight snack. I'll get up and I get, like the I have like giant cups from Smoothie King.
Uh-huh.
There we go. That's like all milk, and then just like nine peanut butter and jellies, and I'll go back to sleep.
I love it,
And
man.
it's like half my diet is peanut butter and jelly.
That'll have to be your nickname, peanut butter and jelly. I love it.
My prop when I'm teaching, just eating a fucking sandwich and just rubbing it on their white gi.
It's a little jelly on there. Oh my gosh. Um, have you ever been in a fight outside of the martial arts school?
Lots of them when I was in high school and college, just because I was never one to pick fights, but I will never say no. Or I didn't talk my way out of them like I do now. I still talk shit, but I'll escalate and then I'll de-escalate because that's fun. But in college, I got in a lot of fights or a lot of grappling matches too, of people just talking shit on the football team. Not very often was super serious. The only one that was real bad was at a softball field. My the guy who got me into jiu-jitsu, he played church league softball, and there was just a group of dudes just hanging out, just talking, like just heckling some random church league softball game. They weren't even part of anything. So I always talk shit back, and then one of them was like, "You want to square up?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been waiting for this." And he's like, "What?" So he was confused, and he was like, "All right." And I didn't have to do anything. He tried to tackle me. I guillotined him until he fell asleep, and then dropped him on his face. I'm like, well, that was boring.
I've got one of the guys I train with. He just got his first degree black belt, right? But he's a bouncer here in town, and
Ah, that's fun.
he's constantly getting, just having to do kind of exactly what you're talking about. He's put multiple people to sleep. Just like, calm down, dude. And he just puts them to sleep, lays them down, and the situation's over. And he talks about it pretty routinely. Like when you're at that level of grappling and understanding of how to deal with people, it's pretty easy. Hey, has all that talk about salty electrolytes made you wonder what all the fuss is about? Have you thought that maybe one day you'd like to try that stuff? Well, today's your lucky day because Salty Electrolytes is offering free samples to listeners of this podcast who have not yet tried this amazing electrolyte supplement. All you have to do is head on over to goearnyourSalt.com and use the code PODSAMPLE at checkout to receive your free sample kit. There will also be a link in the description of this podcast. And now, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, it's one of those confidence builders that's almost egotistical. I don't like you have to really have self control. But it keeps me grounded is not the if there's any room I walk into, I'm like if it's unarmed and one on one and all the stipulations people want to make, I'm pretty confident in myself.
Yeah.
I did striking for just as long as I've been grappling. Everything I've just done together. There was no just when I started jiu-jitsu, there wasn't no gi. It was just MMA. Like that was the thing. So I learned real quick not to get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
And what grounds me is just I have a family. I can't fighting. I could be grappling somebody half my size, smaller, weaker, no experience, step on a rock and break my neck.
Yeah.
That'd be an embarrassing way to go. If I die, I want it to be hilarious, but not embarrassing.
I want it to be hilarious. I like it. Oh, tell me this.
Like,
What's a scariest moment of your life?
uh, driving to the hospital when I didn't know if my wife was alive or not. Because while I knew they weren't legally allowed to tell me, but I knew, that was pretty terrifying because I was like, it could be a chance, I guess. And then it was scary because like now I had this whole open future that I didn't understand anymore because I've always kind of pre-planned my life to a degree. So I was like, well, then I sold everything and moved in with my old roommate and started my entire life over. I like sold literally everything but my jujitsu stuff. And then I met my current wife, which was pretty cool.
Did you, when you say you sold everything, was that just because you just kind of wanted to disengage for clean slate? Like,
So, like I said, a lot of people didn't understand and they thought it was very heartless. But literally the day after, I went to the gym, which is the only place I've ever felt truly myself and alive. Like I can feel my heartbeat and other people's heartbeat and all of those things. Like that's always something that's relatively, I guess, intimate is kind of a weird word, but the correct word for that. Grappling is the only thing that gave me that feeling, like of like feeling alive compared to every other sport or thing I've done. So the day after, I didn't feel alive, and I was like, all right, I sold everything, or I donated all of her stuff that had zero sentimental value, like clothes, furniture, things that didn't matter, right? And things with sentimental value or things of value I sold, and got rid of anything that didn't matter. Because if it doesn't matter, then I shouldn't hold on to it. I sold my car. I had a little teeny little trailer and a piece of land. I sold that, sold everything, and moved in with my roommate, which was closer to my older son anyway. And spent 10K going on dates, like literally like a week later, going on a date every day, and realized 99% of women are a waste of my time. And it goes back to a quote I also heard: the moment you control your lust, you'll learn women are boring. And I deleted all of the dating apps. It was like, oh, that was a waste of time and money. I kind of accelerated the process, obviously. I used all my insurance money to accelerate everything. And then my current wife messaged me on an app I forgot to delete. And I kind of dictate my decisions on a magic 8 ball. I know that's ridiculous. So I took my 8 ball. I was like, oh, I guess I can go on one more date. And I knew the day I met her. I was like, oh, that's the one. We got married. Like I knew that day. The next day I told her I knew that day, and she thought I was nuts. And then we got married a couple months later.
man.
I forgot the original question, but it all kind of
Well,
spiraled.
it was the scariest moment of your life, but yeah, you covered a lot of ground there. You know, I'd asked you before what's something quirky about you, and you just said you make all your decisions by magic 8 ball. That would qualify.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because if I don't know, it doesn't matter what I choose. It doesn't matter. I'll learn either way.
It's an interesting way to put that, man. Yeah, you'll learn either way.
Yeah, if you stick your arm between my legs, you don't know if I'm going to arm bar you or you're going to pass. But you're going to learn one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's all learning, right?
Yeah, it's all learning.
Yeah, oh, man. So back to you said the best advice you'd ever received earlier. I forget how you phrased it, but then you said there were some other things that were in there too with best advice you'd ever received.
Oh, yeah. So do it right or do it twice was a really good one for me. Because, one, I didn't like doing things right the first time because that meant it took a long time. I'd rather half-ass things twice because I just like moving a lot, right? That was just how I did it. If I had to go chop wood, I chop half of it, do something else, and chop more wood, right? So that quote took different meanings for me as I got older. Like, you can do it right or you can do it twice. Either way is fine. There's nothing wrong with doing something twice. I say that to my guys in the gym. You're going to do it right, do it twice, or be in really good shape. Like, you're just going to keep doing it until you do it right. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing something more than once. Nobody does something right the first time. So the quote took a whole new meaning for me as I got older.
That's amazing perspective, man. Because I honestly have never thought about it that way. Because we're always thinking, do it right or do it twice means do it right the first time.
It's negative.
But there's
Exactly. Do it right the first time.
you do it twice.
Who does anything right the first time?
Yeah, nobody.
Nothing. Nothing's right the first time. That's why I don't make fun of white belts. I roast blue belts because they're fucking stupid. You're not stupid if you don't know. You're stupid if you know and keep doing the same shit. And even that in itself, you have to keep doing the same shit to learn.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really negative. Like, being stupid isn't always bad.
No, you mentioned earlier your second degree black belt, and you just grabbed the concept that you mentioned, before, and I'm like, yeah, I just happened to me the other night where I was doing something, and I'm like, dude, I am 12 years into this game, and this thing that my instructor said the first night I was in class finally clicked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How dumb am I, man? Yeah, that's but that's the learning process, right? Back to your
Yeah.
beautiful.
And then I was really strict with belts, like super strict with blue belts, because that's the only belt I could promote at brown belt. Like, all my blue belts were probably borderline purple belts. It was ridiculous. Like, they were winning everything I put them in. They were athletes. And now I actually have standards versus how I feel. And that was a big learning thing because, like, I can't judge the 110-pound chick who's 30 against my airman. That's not fair.
Yeah.
She'll never catch up. It just won't happen. So I had to learn how to build standards that were fair, but kept with the sport, the martial art, and the self-defense aspect, because they're all important to me.
Yeah, that's a tough juggling thing, and that's a conversation I'd love to have with you off air, because that's very much just jiu-jitsu related. But yeah, that's an interesting thing to me. Randy, what's something that's on your bucket list that you want to do before you cash it in?
It'd be nice if jiu-jitsu paid all my bills so my wife didn't have to.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the ultimate goal, right? Like, I don't want to be rich. Dude, the only reason I have this $40 bottle is because my wife bought it for me. You think I give a shit? I'll drink out of a paper cup.
Yeah.
I'm very simple, dude. I like to train, hang out, but it would be really nice if this all paid off in the end for her, because she's supported everything I do. Like, she's at work, she's in the military, she's doing everything so I can stay home and take care of our kids. Because while, of course, she would want to do that, we both believe somebody should always be home with our kids. And when we got married, she already had an established career, and I was literally a bum. I was welding at the time. I can't believe she married me, man.
It's one of the marks of a good marriage is you both feel like you married up, right?
Oh, dude. Oof. I made way up.
What's your favorite book? Something you would recommend everyone read?
The House of the Scorpion. I read it when I was a kid. I was like 12 or 13, and for some reason it really stuck with me. And I read it again every once in a while. It's a young adult book. Even reading it back, I'm like, this is kind of corny, but a lot of the lessons are there. But I think it stuck with me because it's about a kid who's a clone, and clones are unacceptable. So he's treated like shit his whole life until he was important. And I relate to that a lot. I love where I come from. I love my home state. I love the gyms I've built and the people I've built. But none of those people in Delaware, when I taught in Delaware, my whole life until I moved here, I never once had a black belt visit my gym, except my professor. That's it. No one cross-trained there. No one came to see us. We always had to reach out. Granted, part of that's my own fault. I was kind of an asshole. I liked winning too much. I understand, but I built a lot of people there in a lot of places, and I'll never get the credit for it. That bothers me. It still does sometimes. And here, I'm important. My students like to hang out. They want to do these things. They want to cross train. People come to visit me. People come from different countries to my gym now. You know how crazy that is?
Yeah.
We had a guy, he flew from the Key West to Mobile, came to Biloxi to train with me, and then compete in the Biloxi tournament. And then won with the thing I taught him the day before.
Awesome.
Like, that was the coolest fucking thing to me.
There's something cool about that, man. When you see somebody take something you taught them and then they win with it.
And then win.
Oh my gosh.
That's like, I've said it before, jiu-jitsu is not humbling in the regard of me and you roll. If you kicked my ass, you're not going to humble me even if you beat my ass.
Yeah.
I can always find an excuse. Hey, he's 225, whatever. But even still, I never was humbled by getting my ass kicked in this sport. Because if that was the case, I would have never kept doing it. What was humbling is people seeking me out to help them, or people putting their effort into me. Because in the beginning, no one did, but my professor and my coach. That was it. And my son's grandfather, of course. I was spazzy. I was kind of egotistical, white belt. I was 17. I thought I knew everything. And those three were the only ones who helped me grow. And there were a lot of people wanting to kick me out of the gym at that time. So
Gosh, man.
that's what's humbling now, that people still want to invest in me, even though I don't really have much to give back. I'm only good at a sport that's honestly meaningless in the end.
That's quite a perspective, man, because I think I had that thought here. I'm at the time of this recording, I'm just a few weeks into to my black belt, right? And when I was reflecting on that process, and man, I just spent 12 years doing this thing that's been really important to me. But in the long run, the big scheme of things, there's nothing really that important about it. It's important to me.
No.
It means a lot to me because it's a quarter of my life I put into this thing. But
Exactly.
yeah, in the end.
And that's okay. It's okay for something to be important to you, but not someone else.
Yeah.
I tell all of my younger gentlemen that nobody's special. All right. No human being is special. It's the relationships between two people that is, right? If some random person died, which is happening constantly, you don't blink an eye. But the moment it's somebody you know, you think about it. And then when it's someone close to you, then it matters.
Yeah.
It's relationships. So that's the only thing that matters. It took me too long to understand that. It doesn't matter how good you are at jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter how business savvy you are. If you can't communicate and make people remember that relationship with you, then you're not going to be successful. I was not successful until I moved because I just didn't give a shit, dude. All I cared about was getting better at jiu-jitsu, and that's not the end-all be-all. Who cared if I was the best in the room, if I was the poorest in the room? I literally, no joke, Tuesday, went to lunch with one of my students. He's a pilot. He's 27. And we would eat lunch because he flies to Mobile. That's one of his stops, and that's only an hour. So I always go see him whenever he's in town. And he's like, man, I could have been a black belt by now. I was like, shut the fuck up, dude. You're making $250K a year sitting on your ass flying a plane at 27.
Yeah.
Like, he's a millionaire. Like, he's invested all that. He's already like a millionaire. But he dresses like I do, his t-shirts, fucking Crocs. Like, he's just a normal kid. I still see him as like the guy I started with. It's funny because most of my original students, we were all kids together. I was 20 when I started teaching. All my students are still, all my main students are still in their 20s, late 20s now. So it's we're all like growing up kind of together.
Yeah, it's amazing. That was one of the things that really stood out to me was like I look back and I was like, where was I 12 years ago when I started this thing to where I am now? How much life has passed. And I'm like, gosh, man, that got me choked up just thinking back about what that little piece of fabric around my waist really meant to me. That was tough.
Yeah. And those people who say belts don't matter, they are the same people who say marriage certificate doesn't matter. They're the same idiots.
Yeah.
Because your marriage means nothing to me. What the fuck does your piece of paper mean? But to you two, it better mean something.
That's right.
I don't care. Unrelated for a second. No one's ever questioned my belt online. That's pretty hilarious. Anyway, I expected that to happen at least once.
Yeah. Well,
But
If it means anything, man,
that's what it comes down to.
the technique you share is solid, and I think that's probably a big portion of it. You know, you don't watch your videos too long before you realize that you know what dude knows what he's talking about. So you are a good teacher.
But
I like it.
I never comment on most people's videos that I know suck, because some of them are really well-known black belts. I just know that they're not good based on the way they move.
Yeah.
You can tell that somebody fumbling through a technique or this or that. You can tell.
Yeah.
Some people just aren't good teachers, and that's okay too.
Yeah, sometimes they're an amazing practitioner, but not a good instructor, right? And that's where those original questions about, you know, what is it like to teach? Because that's a different art form, and that
I had a lot of strategies on teaching that I would change and cycle through, because I started to teach myself. So I would like teach side control escapes while I was working on my side control 5-side armbar.
all the time. Yeah, for real.
That's how I taught myself jiu-jitsu. I just would spam something. If I could do it to a white belt 1,000 times, doing it to a blue belt isn't much harder. Mm-hmm. And then doing it to a blue belt to a purple belt isn't much different.
So true.
Make everything the same and it's easy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the process is moving your way up the belt ranks with a new thing, right? Man, what's next for you, Andy? What are you going to do from here?
Literally today, pick up my kids and then go beat up kids at open mat, because open mat is always like 9 military dudes just walk in for one day thinking they're cool, and we just beat the shit out of them and then they leave. Because our open mats are either humongous or it's just me and one other guy. And then I feel bad for him, because Friday is the day, don't ask me fucking questions, minus you, of course. But Friday, when I train, it's just I focus on what I'm working on because it's open mat. So no one asks me questions. They know. If they ask me a question, it's really funny, because I'll act like an old school Brazilian black belt and tell them, I'll just give them the wrong answer and then spam their question on them. So if someone asks me an armbar question, I'll just armbar them like 30 times.
This is how you do it, huh?
Yeah.
No instruction.
Everything I teach, every day I teach, right? When we come to the sparring part, like after situationals, I just spam what I just taught you.
Sure.
Like it's hilarious. Sometimes I get caught, sometimes I fuck up. But like I've been teaching side control escapes. So I'll just literally lay there and then get out and then let them do it again, then get out and then sweep them and then get out.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
But
that's
I love that you said
that's eco, right? That's the eco thing. I just do it myself.
Yeah. It's funny you say it, because just last night, that's exactly what I did. In fact, I had a class of purple belts and up, right? And that was who I was teaching. And
yeah, oh, wow, that's awesome.
And so it's so fun to teach those guys, because you don't have to go back on anything. It's just they all know the basics.
Exactly. They're the ones allowed to skip warm-ups.
Yeah, that's right. So anyways, we took those guys, and I told them afterwards, when we were just finishing up class, it was time to go grapple. And I said, I want to know your score at the end of the day on how many of these things that we taught tonight, how many did you hit? You know, and they all came to me afterwards and said, yeah, I got 5, I got 6, I got whatever it was of how many times they hit the technique of the night, you know.
Yeah, getting your cookies, man.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, listen, dude, tell the audience where you can be found and where your magic is.
Well, Instagram mostly, because I actually can interact on there. YouTube, I write back to the comments, but it's YouTube. I don't care about YouTube. But Instagram is Black Belt Randy with underscores.
Okay. And
I message everyone back, unless it's something ridiculous. But
awesome, man. Yeah,
well, I try to anyway.
I enjoy your channel, you guys. Go check that out. Black Belt Randy, Instagram and YouTube both. It's entertaining. If you're a jiu-jitsu person, it's legit good instruction. Randy, I appreciate you coming on today, dude.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Randy, go earn your salt, my friend.
Yes, I'll see you soon, I'm sure.
Hey, you've just finished up this episode, and I want to know, are you or someone you know a getting after it, go earn your salt type of person? If so, message me directly on Instagram at the Go Earn Your Salt podcast, and perhaps we can have you on the show. Also, if you like this content, leave us a review, subscribe, and share with your friends. And perhaps this podcast can help you and them go earn your salt.